Welcome back to this week's episode of Hate Your Guts podcast. I'm Rizzo, and this week I am hating the inability to find a good lip stain at the drugstore.
I'm Vivi, and this week I'm hating Dr. Squatch.
I'm Haley, and this week I'm hating being 25.
So real.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious about the Dr. Squatch thing.
I don't know if you guys are aware, I just found this out this morning. They're doing a collaboration with Sydney Sweeney where they're putting out a bar of soap, but her actual real bath water is in the soap.
Interesting.
Really?
Yeah, it's on their Instagram and her Instagram, and they're actually selling it, and her real bath water is inside of it, allegedly.
How many baths is this woman taking?
I think it's probably just small bits are put into each bar of soap. I do think Belle Delphine, the OnlyFans creator that was the original girl who did that, the selling your bathwater thing, I think she was a genius. However, I do think she set us back many years.
She was a visionary.
She was a visionary, and she did set us back many years because there was a lot of copycat girls that did the exact same thing as her. And also, I just don't think we should be catering to the freaks, the weird, porn addicted freaks at this point in time.
Ugh.
Also,
Yeah.
you fools really believe that her bathwater's in there?
Yeah, I'm is it really? It might not be.
It said droplets.
It's probably
It's an essence of her bathwater.
realistically, she probably wore a bikini and was in a bathtub and they used that. But it's also, I think someone tested the Belle Delphine bathwater when she was selling that too.
Tested it how?
I don't even know. I think they tried to trace it for particles of DNA.
That's disgusting.
If you have first of all, get a job. If you have the time for that, it's time to look on Indeed.com, I think.
I feel like if you have the equipment to be doing that kind of science, you should have a better job.
I'm hoping
testing.
that you
Yeah.
have a job and you did that at work, actually. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm concerned if that's the case.
In the work lab.
Is that where our resources are being used for?
I kind of do stuff like that at work. If my boss is listening, no, I don't.
Elaborate.
No, I don't test things, but I definitely do things. I got a master's while going to work.
Yeah.
I did my schoolwork at work.
Yeah, this is fair.
You should always take advantage of the company's time. Never forget it, guys.
Yeah, we're pro time theft here. I don't think time theft is real. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think the lack of personal restrooms in workplaces is an act of pure evil to people who want to shit on company time. And I think it's an attempt to deter them.
Yeah, I would go as far as to say it's misogyny. I think women should
agree.
have single stall bathrooms because I also, you know what?
Do you know that men will shit in the same room as each, they'll shit in a public restroom and they'll talk to each other during it?
It's sick. It's so sick.
Yeah.
It's foul.
Yeah. I am definitely someone who will, if need be, shit in public, but I'm waiting until I'll play the waiting game. I'll play chicken with you.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna leave.
I'm the one that's going to leave because I can't sit on the toilet that long without something happening. So I got to go. I got to go.
I'm on the same page with Vivi on this one. If I have to shit, it's coming out no matter where I am.
Yeah, that's dire situation. It's not ideal. I'd much rather wait till I get home, but if I really, really need to, I will.
Mm-hmm. What was your what did you say, Haley?
What do you being 25. I hate it. And I'm having a quarter life crisis.
Mm-hmm. What's the problem?
This is okay. I was on my way home from work and I was wow, I go to work every day and I race home because I saw a video that it was I can only do one chore a day, one stop after work a day. And I was God,
mm-hmm.
that's so me. I'm one stop only. I don't even want to get out of the car. And then I was thinking about it and I was so I'm just going to work to go home right away. And I go home because I pay rent there, and I pay rent there because I need to be a person in society and have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was going through to my head and and it's there's nothing to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to me right now. And that made me really sad. Mm-hmm. So I was I kind of need a hobby, or I need to just do things. And so I've been trying to not want to be in bed so much, which is really hard.
Yeah.
And I know part of it is just being depressed, and I am ultra depressed right now. But it doesn't help that I don't like my job. I don't feel like I do anything important at my job to make a difference to anyone. I don't know. I just feel like I could go... This is not a cry for help. I feel like I could go poof and no one would notice.
At work or just in general?
kind of in general, but not really, because like I do have friends and family who like me, and that's nice.
We love you.
But I think it's hard. Well, Ethan worked all nights last week, so I kind of just came home and like wallowed in my own pity. I think it was hard, like coming from work and then just like being alone, because I think you were working a lot too. I was alone a lot last week.
Yeah, that was, I think, graduation week, so I was gone like most of the week, just like work and planning things.
Yeah, which Vivi should live her own life. I'm not saying Vivi should have been home to hang out with me.
Yeah, but it makes sense. It's just like having someone around.
It just like made me think about, first of all, I was thinking, why don't you do more things? And second of all, I started thinking about why I don't do more things, and it's because I want to do it with other people. And I'm like, Haley, you can go to things without other people, and that's how you make more friends.
Yeah.
This also did indeed prompt me to download Bubble BFF. We're trying that out one more time.
Okay.
I'll update you guys if that works out, but I am promoting our podcast on there at least, so
At least there's that.
New listeners.
it's like literally like, listen to my podcast.
Yeah, I think that would be really good for you, because when I was on Bumble BFF, I was like, why the fuck are these girls and their boyfriends on here? I don't give a fuck if you have a boyfriend, but I think it would be awesome for you to find other like couple friends.
I think that is like the greatest like selling point of Bumble BFF is that most people on there are on there because they have a significant other that they really love, and maybe they moved to a new city, or they just graduated, or whatever, and blah blah blah, and they only have the free time for their partner, or so they feel, and so that's all they have. And it's like, well, I don't want to not hang out with my partner, but also like I need some other people.
Yeah, no, I feel that. I think for me, when I was on Bumble BFF, it was like girls who would dump you like last minute to like see their partner, whoever, or girls who are crazy and want to spend every free time with you. Like there's never a good balance.
Yeah.
So I think that it's good to find people who are, if you're in a relationship, I think it's good to find other girls in relationships who just like want a friend to hang out with maybe once every few weeks.
Yeah. I did find a couple of leftists already, so that's really cool.
Slay.
Yeah. I've been being really picky. I keep running out of swipes like almost instantly because if I don't see like reproductive rights, human rights, saying something about politics in one of your prompts, like if I don't get any indication that you didn't vote red, then I'm just like, we're abandoning ship. I'm not taking that chance.
So true.
Yeah, and the visual markers aren't adding up anymore. Like you can have tattoos and piercings and still be Republican. So like it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly. But yeah, I was having a rough week last week.
That sounds really optimistic though.
Yeah, I think I do this thing a lot. I do it to you guys. I do it to the podcast where I complain about something and I do nothing to change it. I've been complaining about not having friends, which love you guys. I love my friends. I'm just saying like
community.
You can only hang out with people like so many times before they're like, I'm busy, or they have another person to hang out with, or your schedules don't align, whatever.
Yeah.
Or like Elena lives too far for me to hang out with her every day. Like I can't do that.
Not for much longer.
Not for much longer. But I was like, I need to do something about this. I've been saying I want more friends for like the entire time we've lived in Long Beach. Yeah. And I don't do anything. I just sit at home.
And maybe these new friends and like your experiences with them will get you into new hobbies.
I'm kind of also looking at it as like networking, because a lot of the people I was like, it sounds so weird because it sounds like I'm dating these people. The people I'm matching with, they're kind of in career fields that I might be interested in.
Yeah.
Which I'm not doing that just because I'm like, ooh, but I'm like, oh, that's coincidentally cool.
Yeah, and fun to learn more about like the real like objectives that happen in those fields.
Yeah, so
that's so cool. Not to patronize you, but I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. No, that means a lot. I'm a huge introvert, so maybe don't congratulate me till I actually meet one of them.
Till you go out. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's pretty ballsy just to even.
I've been messaging everyone first.
Ooh.
Not to be like a crazy person, but I'm so tired of doing things like this and then no one does. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the messages just sit there and then no one ends up actually doing anything.
Exactly. It's just like regular dating.
Yeah. Precisely.
So, yeah.
This is optimistic because now I can invite you to do things with me. Because I feel like you're always going to say no. So I'm just like, I don't want to be rejected.
So when I say no, I need you to be like, Haley, remember that time where you were complaining on the podcast? Like, I'm being so serious because once you do that, I'm going to be like, fuck, she's fucking right. If I have a valid, if I'm like, okay, like
you really don't want to
I worked all week. I'm exhausted. I don't feel like something like that.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm just like, no, I want to be home.
Yeah, I'm really tired, but I'm really trying to rally. Like tomorrow I have an appointment and then I work and then I have a celebration for all the grads at my work. They're going to like a bar crawl thing on Broadway. So I'm really excited for that. But then I also have my graduation party the next day and I have work the next day. So I'm like, fuck. But it's going to be a fun weekend. It can suck to have to rally, but it's fun to like do it as you're doing it.
I need to know now so I know what time I need to be ready. Do you need us to help with anything? Like, do you need us there before 6?
I'm probably going to go early. But you guys don't have to come set up if you don't want to. I'm going to ask my mom that too, because they're mostly doing everything. I was like, what do I need to bring? And she was like, just bring yourself. And I was like, well, I got a cake. And she was like, oh, well, we were going to get you a cake. And I was like, no, I got it covered. It's fine. But I think they have everything mostly covered. I have to ask what time I'm going to go, but I might leave earlier. But I will say it's going to be hot, which is why I did it at 6, because it's going to be, I think, like 80 or like 80 to 85 sometime during the day.
We need the damn sun out right now. I'm depressed.
Dude, I need a tan so bad. I'm like on top of trying to do things because I'm also like, we have free will and I really can just like go 2 miles to the beach and like lay on the sand.
Yeah, because I think we're also like, we have the financial aspect of like sometimes there's not money to do things. And it's like,
Yeah.
But why do I care about being in California if I don't even fucking sit on the beach like once a week? I could live in Alabama and it's the same fucking thing. I'm in an apartment in a city.
Yeah. It's such a privilege to be able to be this close to the beach. Like, even when I lived more inland, I was like, if I lived closer, I would be at the beach like once a week. Bitch, I don't do that.
Me and Ethan, when we were moving from Azusa, like, I think we bought something beach related. And he was like, do we really need this? And I was like, I'm going to be at the beach all the time when we move to Long Beach. Ew, my bad.
I'm jealous.
You can move to Long Beach eventually.
Our neighbors just moved out.
Nah.
Yeah, that's valid.
Jacob and I were talking about potentially moving to Portland next year, which is a lot sooner than we had originally been discussing. So, not any super solid plans on that yet, but fingers crossed that we can have more conversations.
I'm so excited for you, but also I'm like so sad at the thought.
Yeah.
For selfish reasons, obviously, because I'm not ready to move to Portland next year.
Yeah, we would probably get a house with Liz and Zay.
How exciting.
That'd be cute.
Yeah, so we shall see. I just sent Jacob away on his tour last night. We went to San Diego.
Fun.
And we were out there until very late, and then drove home very late. They dropped us off, and then they drove to San Francisco overnight. So
that's a tough drive.
Yeah. I went to sleep at like 2 a.m. and then I had a therapy appointment this morning. So I'm feeling very...
How is that going?
Whooped. I am feeling more optimistic about it. I think it's finally clicking for me what the purpose of somatic therapy is.
Okay.
Okay, so to those who don't know, somatic therapy is usually for trauma healing. It is helpful for becoming less reactive and balancing out your mood swings throughout the day and other things. So once you kind of like learn the tools of like how to regulate yourself, then you can use them in your day-to-day life. And the reason why I was kind of questioning if I liked this therapist or like this type of therapy was because I was like, well, okay, cool. Like now I've learned the tools, but like when I go to session, I'm kind of just like, I don't really know what to do with this. But it is nice because, I mean, I've had a pretty like chaotic past few weeks and I haven't really had time to like sit with my body and my feelings and my emotions and like regulate. So like just scheduling these like therapy appointments gives me that space to do it, because otherwise I wouldn't have done it.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, like this is making sense now.
Yeah, because at the very least, it's, even if you don't get anything out of the therapy per se, it's an hour that you took for yourself.
Yeah. I will say there are some days where I'm like, I don't really feel like I need a whole hour.
Yeah.
Like a good 30 minutes. Sometimes I'll be like looking at the clock in the middle of my appointment and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of done, but got my money's worth. But
that's what kind of frustrates me, because most therapists have like you have to cancel, I think like 24 to 48 in advance. But it's like, what if like the day before I'm like doing really well and I don't need to talk to you?
Yeah, there's definitely times like that where I'm like, I don't really have anything to say. So I started spacing out my appointments a little further.
I think that's the best, because you also are more likely to keep track of things that you want to talk about.
It's low-key how I feel about the podcast.
Same, because I do have like a fat note right now.
Yeah, and we also accidentally took a hiatus. One, I needed the time for finals week and graduation. Two, we recorded and it didn't save, so we didn't have an episode for the previous week, even though we did record it.
Yeah.
Really sucks.
Don't worry, guys. I cried for all of us. the whole world, everyone listening, actually.
Yeah.
So Othiel, my boyfriend's band, just released an album last night. Please go check it out. They worked very hard on it. It is so good. They are like screamo / melodic hardcore. They're about to go on a full US tour. So if you are in any other states, check them out. See if they're playing in your state, in your city. Maybe go pay them a visit. Most of their shows are probably like $5 to $10.
Mm-hmm.
And they're playing with Numb Ears, another really awesome screamo band. We watched them at the Che Cafe last night, and
Cute.
holy shit, those kids go crazy. They were climbing on the ceiling. Like literally they were climbing, like there were like beams,
Oh,
like
I'd be
wood
freaking
beams
out.
on the ceiling,
Mm-hmm.
and they were climbing them like monkeys. And I was like,
Holy
this
shit.
is so fun.
Yeah, that sounds so awesome. Are they doing any more LA dates, or was it just the Glass House?
They did an LA date this past weekend at like a festival, but they are gone
Yeah.
for the whole month. So I'm not really feeling sad yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure it'll hit me. This is what I was telling my therapist today. But he helped me move. We're moving. We're in the process of moving. Well, I'm in the process of moving. But he helped me move a lot of stuff already. Like the really big, like heavy furniture. I have a few more heavy furniture things to get rid of, or not get rid of, to move. Anyways, a lot of the heavy lifting has been done. So I feel a lot of relief about moving.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it will be relieving because you haven't had, like, obviously Jacob's going to be there too, but, like, you haven't had your own space for a long time. And, like, I feel like your own space that you had last was very much violated by multiple people.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so it's going to be nice to have, like, a home.
Mm-hmm. Even in this month, I'm kind of excited. I'm realizing that he will be gone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to miss him, of course. But I was telling my friend Alex, shout out Alex, I know he listens. Shout out Ridgeway, the band Ridgeway. SoCal emo. Anyways, I was telling him, because he's a tattoo artist as well. He was like, how is tattoos going? And I'm like, I'm not really doing tattoos. I haven't been drawing. I haven't been painting. I haven't been doing my stained glass. I haven't even really been playing bass. And so I have a million hobbies and I'm not really doing any of them. So I kind of have imposter syndrome right now about all of them.
I feel that.
So maybe I can get back into that.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, like, as much as I, like, miss Ethan when he's not here, I am kind of like, okay, I can get stuff done now.
Yeah, I feel so productive.
Because all they do is slow us down. Like, what are you doing? Can I help with that? How can I help you? What am I supposed to do? And then it's like, okay, we're done.
Yeah. I think I've just been like focusing so much on like spending as much time with him as possible before he leaves, that I'm kind of just like abandoning everything else, which I don't regret at all. But, and I don't really feel like it's unhealthy.
I feel like it's okay to give yourself a break, even if it's a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was like a purposeful, like, no, this is my plan. I'm going to spend as much time with him as possible, and then I'm going to get my shit together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how you avoid burning out on your favorite hobbies.
You know what? So true.
Yeah, so you should take breaks from your hobbies.
It was much needed.
Yeah, and decorating is like a fun project to do while he's gone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just a fun task to be able to do.
Yeah.
All of your hobbies are very, like, thought intensive, I feel like. Like,
Yes.
it, like, really consumes your thinking.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great way to distract yourself and make the days go by.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Do you guys know what today is?
what is
No.
today?
It's the 6-year anniversary of my first Tinder account being banned.
That's pretty funny.
That's so random.
Which, whoever doesn't know the lore, I met Ethan on my second Tinder account, and he super liked me. And apparently he had seen me before, so I think I had not swiped on it on my first account. So I'm looking at that as fate.
Oh.
And I know because I took a Snapchat memory,
Mm.
and Snapchat's been emailing me my memories because I don't have the app.
That's insane of them, but that's so funny.
It's kind of crazy.
That's really funny. I don't have the app anymore either, but I don't notice my emails.
I randomly started getting them. I don't know if it was like a
Please come back. Yeah.
Mhm.
Something that I wanted to say that I kind of got into with Elena real quick before we recorded was I think that Andy Samberg is hot. We're talking about Hot Rod. And when we were at the dinner after rehearsals for the wedding, I forgot who exactly was in the conversation. It was you, I think Natalie, and maybe Emily.
Yeah.
The other people in the wedding party, and Ethan, and other people were saying that Andy Samberg's not hot, and I felt like ostracized. I was like, wait, what's going on?
No.
I thought we all agreed.
No. It was a debate of Andy Samberg versus
Oh,
Michael
yes.
Cera.
Yeah.
And we were all team Michael
Yeah,
Cera's
in
cuter.
which case, yes, I did say Michael Cera's cuter.
That's nuts.
I think Andy Samberg is cute. I don't think he's hot. That's my opinion.
Andy Samberg in Hot Rod is hot.
That's fair.
That's
your prerogative.
and you can think that.
I think that he's cute. Hot is a word that I reserve for my boyfriend only. I'm just kidding.
So Scorpio of you.
No, yeah, he's cutie. He has a longer face.
I feel like Michael Cera is like the cuter version of him.
Yeah.
I never got into the Michael Cera hype. Like, I've always been like, he's there. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not denying your hots for Andy Samberg. So I'll validate you there.
Yeah, I'm not going to make fun of you. I just thought it was blasphemy that
Yeah.
you said that he was cuter than Michael.
I do still think that. Do you guys think Michael Cera's hot now? Like, as an adult?
I don't know what he looks like now.
He's in a new Wes Anderson movie. I think he looks kind of weird. But,
You know who's still hot? Matthew Gray Goobler. Is that how you
oh,
say
he's
it?
always hot. Yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling a little embarrassed now because all of these photos of Michael Cera are not flattering.
I think he doesn't photograph good. Like, I think he only looks good in video.
Yeah.
On film.
And I don't like him with, usually I prefer facial hair. I don't know. I don't prefer it on him.
It's very, like thin and greasy looking on him specifically. I do think he looks better with a bare face.
Thin and greasy is awesome.
Like mousy, you know?
You mentioned Mormons earlier, and I started watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but I've only watched like 2 episodes so far. So,
First season or second?
first.
I think the first season's good. I like it. It's very G-rated reality TV.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think they really cuss.
Well, they definitely cuss. I'm a little confused how they're still allowed to be called Mormons with the things that they do.
Yeah, I'm also intrigued by that. I don't remember exactly the people's names or exactly what happened. I've seen a couple of episodes, but
I could tell you.
Like the one that's like ostracized because she's kind of like an attention.
Whitney.
Like, is that her?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the blonde.
And that like I think it's great that they're like trying to be sex positive and modern, but I'm also like I don't think the like modern thing falls into your religion at all.
No, I was like, at what point are you not Mormon anymore?
Yeah, like it's fine that you're not, but it just doesn't seem like they're compatible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, obviously, I could be speaking mistruth as I usually do. I want to say that they kind of differentiate themselves between Mormon and LDS Mormon, which is like the Latter-day Saints church or whatever. Because I was actually best friends with a girl who was Mormon in high school. And there were like certain things that like she just didn't abide by, if that makes sense. Like she would kind of follow the dress code, but also like wasn't wearing the garment things. And like she wouldn't drink soda, but she would drink coffee. And so I think there's like, it's like the Christians who only go to church on Easter or whatever. I think there's a group of Mormons like that.
Well,
That makes sense.
So far in these first 2 episodes, they've been using them interchangeably.
Yeah. I think it might be like a family thing. Like maybe you're like, oh, I came from a Mormon family. I don't want to lose that identity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it seems more aggressive though. Like low key, when people talk about it, I'm like, is this Scientology? Like, what do you mean? Like you're ostracizing people from your community? Like you're, like, what is it called? Like the elders or something?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like they're in charge of everything. It feels. I obviously know it is like a cult, but it feels very far removed from Christianity and the way that they run it. Like it's so aggressive.
And I just, I'm sorry. When they came out, have you guys seen that they came out with new garments? Why am I on Mormon Talk?
I want to see what the garments look
No.
like.
I'll
Is
show you
it
what
like undergarments, like the.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna like look up old versus new garments so you guys can see. But I
Okay.
was kind of like, you guys are really like you guys just change the rules in real time. Like, what is your religion based off of?
Yeah. I will say when I find out that someone is currently Mormon, I do lose a little bit of respect for them.
Oh, of course.
Like, you couldn't at the very least be normal and be like Christian or Catholic. Like, Mormon is heavy. It's intense.
Just convert.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. If you're Mormon, just convert.
Okay, so like this is like what the garments look like now, and those are kind of shorts. But it used to be like I want to say it was like a long sleeve or like a short sleeve, so you couldn't wear tank tops really. I think the shorts were a little longer, like they hit the knee, so everything had to be knee length. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, you guys you changed it. Yeah. You just decided like that was okay with like whoever your religion is, who I don't understand it.
Yeah, they like. What? It's fine to wear underwear. You don't have to wear garments. I don't think. Do
Mormons believe in like a god?
Yeah, they're Christian.
I think so.
They're Christian?
Yeah, it's a type of Christian denomination.
So they just think like God just changed the garment rule? Mormons, comment down below.
Yeah, I don't know where the garment thing came from, but I know that the guy who started Mormonism, like
Joseph Smith.
Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
Okay. On Mormons, Jacob and I just finished a short series on Netflix called American Primeval.
I think I watched this.
Oh my god. It's actually so good. It's like, if you're into history, you'll probably like it. But it's a TV drama series, like a historical TV drama. It's not reality, but it's based on like true events that happened. So I think it's like based in the 1800s when like people were still like, I don't know, forming like little towns and colonies and shit. Not colonies.
Townships.
Yes, townships.
That's such a cute name.
The Mormons tried to take over the American government, and they did so, or they attempted so so they had like a Mormon militia where they would wear these hoods over their heads, and they would like massacre like whole ass towns while wearing these hoods, but they would like massacre people with like bows and arrows, and they would also do scalpings so that like people who like witnessed these massacres or like saw the aftermath thought that the massacre happened by Native Americans, so people would like blame the Native Americans, but it was actually the Mormons. And they would like, they had like some Native Americans like working for them, so then like those people were traitors. And so yeah, they would like take over whole villages. They tried to fight the American government. I don't remember if they actually did. I think they did.
Didn't we have a Mormon president, or am I tripping?
Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it was a cool show. It's really interesting.
That sounds super interesting. I'm not surprised. Mormons are pretty racist. So whenever also someone tells me that they're Mormon, I'm like, who'd you vote for?
Oh, 1,000%.
Yeah, because it's also like, I don't know how you like in this modern day and age, you're not racist and you believe in a religion that says black people are black because they sinned in a past life. Like, that's nuts. You're crazy if you are like fine with that.
Okay, so this is where like shit confuses me. People choose to be Mormon. People will convert like when they're like 25. And I've seen people of color convert when they're older. And I don't understand the appeal. Just be a Christian. Like, why do you want to be in the cult version? What is so appealing about that to you?
Yeah, and it's so much more restrictive. And it's also just like, people are going to go around the restrictions anyway because humans want to do what they want. You're not a virgin if you soak. I'm sorry.
No way.
No way. It's in there.
It's penetration.
It's in there.
If your private part touched another person's private part, you are not a virgin anymore.
Yeah.
Also, arguably, like, oral sex is sex.
It is.
It is, yeah.
You can't be a virgin and give blowjobs, sorry.
Yeah.
Dry humping. They have a word for that.
If they have clothes on, I'll give them that. If you're dry humping naked, just stick it in.
Just put, yeah, literally. Like,
just put it in.
If you're dry, I didn't know people dry humped naked and that's it. That's nuts.
I'm assuming if they soak, they do anything.
That's true. You guys just want to fuck and you can do that. That's fine.
It's called derfing.
Yes, I have heard that before.
Oh, that's such an ugly word.
It's disgusting.
You guys are
like,
weird.
It sounds like an illness.
Weirdo. It does sound like an illness.
Or actually, I think in iCarly they use that as a number. Do you remember that? Where they're like,
they had a whole episode on the word derf.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, wait.
Wait.
I can see Miranda Cosgrove going, "Durf."
Wait, this is
I've definitely
disgusting.
heard her say that before.
Yeah, there's that weird little like evil boy that lives in her apartment complex that's in love with her and hates her older brother, and she like tries to invent a new number. Wait, what the fuck? This is sick. Dan Schneider, you're going to hell. Hell is real and you're going there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an imaginary number to get revenge on her. This guy Chuck who's tormenting Spencer, her brother. That is fucking funny. And that's an interesting symbol to pick.
Yeah, that looks like some sort of like marker that's on like when there's like a mass murder and like giving Helter Skelter, it's giving Charles Manson, like something that was spray painted on a wall.
Yeah, I'm just not loving it. If anyone's curious, it kind of looks like an upside down 4 or maybe half of a sailboat.
It looks like how I do like my and symbol, but like reversed, like
Yeah.
That's
mirrored.
super funny. Speaking of the ampersand, when I was in like middle school and high school, I wanted that tattoo so bad.
Oh yeah.
For the Of Mice and Man band.
I was just talking to John about that.
Really?
Yeah, that's my roommate. We were. Oh, what song was it by Of Mice and Men?
Second and Spring.
No, but it's like the acoustic one. Pretty little lady with swollen.
Oh, I had that album on CD
Yeah.
actually.
That song came on my shuffle,
that would have taken me back.
and John and I were like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, what y'all know about this?
It was my own playlist. I was like, I haven't heard this one in a while.
That's a pretty good like acoustic album, I will say.
Yeah.
I was never into them.
They're not like a band that they're not like a band that I can listen to now and I'm like, this shit fucks still. It's just kind of like, huh. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to have a nostalgia day, and I went back and like listened to all the really shitty metalcore bands that I listened to in high school. Who's calling you?
Just saying.
What were we talking about before I picked up the phone?
We were talking about Mormons ? Or were we talking about
I think it was Mormon still.
I don't know.
We were talking about Mormons.
Where were we?
I don't know if I have anything else to say about Mormons besides the fact that I do really want to try swig, I will say. It looks kind of fire. I am not really someone... Try. I'm not really someone that keeps soda in the fridge, like for regular consumption. Because if I have it there, I'm going to drink it, and I don't need to be drinking soda every day. But I do enjoy a soda when I go out, and it looks yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love a good crisp from the fountain soda.
Mm. And I love a cream soda, and I know that they do a lot of that.
I love cream soda.
That's like the one thing I don't. I think that's because I'm lactose though.
Yeah, I did say I think when we did our like what we would have our death row meal, mine was an Italian cream soda. And I stand by that. That shit is so fire.
That's what I've done since I've been depressed and I haven't had anything to do because I haven't had any money. I've been planning. The trip will probably never go on, but I'm planning a Europe trip.
Oh,
Oh.
I thought you were gonna say something else.
No, but it's like in 2027 and it's like a really long shot. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
no, that's valid. That sounds like that could be like so much fun.
Really occupying. If you guys ever need something to like take up your mind, is trying to plan a trip in another country.
Yeah,
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's really occupying me and making me feel like I do have something to look forward to, even though nothing is like set in stone.
yeah. I really want to go to Japan sometime. I feel like everyone and their mother went this year, and I'm like, damn, I'm missing out. You guys are having so much fun.
It's
I
because
do
they
know
bought
a few
their tickets last year when
Yeah.
there was like some, I don't know why they were so cheap.
I think for some reason, like Japan's economy, like their dollar value and compared to the US dollar was really low. I don't know exactly why.
Curious.
I really want to go to China.
That seems like that
Me
could be
too.
fire. I'm also kind of scared of going to China though, because I'm like, they're really mean. If you're not like really small and pale.
I would love to go like on an Asian tour country thing. I think part of it is just like I know that people hate Americans, number one. Number two, like I'm not bilingual in the slightest and I can try to teach myself, but like I do just feel like I need someone there who speaks English and the native language, which is not in my budget.
Yeah,
But it
having a
would be so
translator.
nice.
It would be harder to do an Asian tour than a Europe tour, just because I mean China itself is fucking humongous, gigantic. But I think if you were to do like the Southeast Asian countries, that could be doable because I think they're smaller.
Would love to go to Thailand.
Yeah, could be
I
fire.
just feel like once you're over there, just do it. That's how I look at it.
Dude, there are so many rich white people who could not even stand to like learn another language that travel internationally. Like if they can do it, we can do it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I've had a very strong opinion about that specific thing in general, because I don't know if you guys are understanding what's happening in Puerto Rico right now. Have you guys seen all of the stuff with the coqui? It's like a little frog. There's an indigenous frog, a native frog to Puerto Rico, that it makes a little sound. It sounds like a Pokemon. It goes like coqui, and it's like really cute, but there's a lot of them. And there was a Reddit post that went viral, and people reposted it on Twitter, on TikTok, on like other places. And it was of people visiting, and they were staying at an Airbnb, and they were talking about how they had sprayed some sort of like repellent against the frogs around their Airbnb to make it quiet. And they were like, I forgot to ask them, like, what was the spray? And it is like crazy to me to think about being a visitor in a country and thinking that you can change like the ecological and environmental like things around you because you are not acclimated to that. Like, why are you damaging the frogs that are there because you think that they're annoying? That's nuts. You're crazy.
See, you have to know your limits. Me, I know I can't go to Australia because I can't fuck with those spiders.
Yeah.
That's something I know for myself. If you can't deal with frogs that make a cute cookie sound, don't go to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, it's also just like you can't, the whole world cannot like adapt to you. If you're traveling somewhere, adapt to the circumstances that you're in. You're there for what, like a week, 2, maybe max. They're also protected. I think they're endangered, so they're like a protected species.
That would check out.
Yeah, I wonder why.
They make such cute sounds. It's really sad.
It is really sad, and they're so small.
Makes me want to give them cookies.
I wanted to bitch about the manosphere.
Yes.
And misogyny and violence towards women in general. A lot of the things that I'm going to talk about might be heavily like bi-gendered, like men and women. But obviously, like, I'm, inclusive of all genders, but
we recognize that any gender can commit domestic violence.
Yeah, just like use critical thinking to know if the shoe fits.
Yeah, it's hard to use pronouns like for everyone at once.
Yeah. So the manosphere is made up of a bunch of these usually red-pilled grifters, such as Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, who started like the male loneliness epidemic bullshit.
I didn't know that was him.
And that like fresh fit fun motherfucker. Actually, I don't think it's called Fresh Fit Fun. I think it's just called Fresh and Fit. But his like that.
It sounds so live, laugh, love.
Yeah,
like what it should be reduced to. It's stupid.
So, yeah, usually these men with podcasts that try. Maybe their intention is to what is it called? Like male empowerment.
Gross.
But I think it does just the opposite. Because a lot of these men are incels and they end up isolating themselves from community, and they also hold other men to higher standards that only men created for them.
So true.
So let's see. A lot of them believe in this 80-20 rule, which can be interpreted or rephrased in multiple different ways, but the one that I'm going to use is 80%. They believe that 80% of women are attracted to only 20% of men. Really true. That's not like a real statistic. They kind of just like pulled that out of their ass, I think.
I've never once heard like such an even split statistic. So
there's also like some people will word it as like 80% of men, or it's like 20% of men are having 80% of the sex in the world, and it's like that's not even like how do you measure that?
What study did you pull that from?
Yeah,
I'm also just like, as a single person, that's probably true, and in the sense that what are you doing to make yourself more attractive? Are you being like, are you taking care of yourself? Do you bathe? What's your hygiene looking like? Are you compassionate? Are you kind? Are you funny? Are you a good person? Usually no, if you're listening to like those kinds of people. And that's the fact that you like are looking at women as an object to be acquired is probably why women don't like you. It has nothing to do with your looks.
Yeah, all of those are good points. But also, data shows that women are a lot more open-minded in their approach to dating men.
The bar is in hell.
Yeah. For example, 2 different studies found that around 87% of women would date bald men, despite what the manosphere tells men that they need to look like.
Mm-hmm.
It is true that I think 99% of women wouldn't date men shorter than themselves. But I mean, I feel like if that's their only...
Yeah. I feel like that statistic can't be right. Women not actually dating people shorter than them.
I just met one of my friend's girlfriends last night, and his girlfriend was way taller than him.
Mm-hmm. It's 2025. Who cares?
I don't know. I think that that's a fair thing. If that's our only, not only, but if that's a standard that women choose to have for men, because men are going to treat them like shit anyways, so be it.
Yeah. I think we briefly talked about something like this one time before, and I've said it once and I'll say it again. People can have preferences and they don't have to be everyone's preference.
Yeah.
And men can't seem to wrap their heads around that.
Yeah, I also feel like that is kind of one of the few things that the patriarchy has given us is women are smaller and shorter and men are taller and bigger, and it's well, you guys did this to yourselves, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And also I usually do like dating men that are taller than me, and that's just my own preference,
Mm-hmm.
I have met many a short king with a face card, and I have thought otherwise when I met them, but it really is just down to you as a person. It's such an individual thing where you can't really be oh, I wouldn't be attracted to this thing, because then you meet someone who's confident and funny and cool, and then you're oh, well, actually I'm kind of into you.
You know what it is for me kind of with height? It's it's not necessarily about the height. I just need to feel if shit were to go down, you could hold your own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think the problem within this group here is that the type of men we like, when they're short, they look like they're underage, because they're usually skinny or just not a gym bro buffed out fucking yoked dude.
Yeah. I will say, as I've gotten older, I've been straying away from the really skinny.
Yeah, I think that's our frontal lobe right there.
I think so too. And I also am just there is such a point of being completely jacked where it's really just for other men, because I'm most women don't really, I'm not noticing certain, your triceps, whatever you call them.
Mm-hmm.
It's so they can jack off in the mirror to themselves.
Low-key, yeah. And that's great. I'm happy that you love yourself that much. Happy for you. But a lot of the incel that community is very much just them jacking off to each other and validating each other, and it's well, have you actually talked to a woman about this in your life without being violent and aggressive about it?
Yeah, it seems pretty gay
Sounds
that
pretty gay to me.
you guys are setting male beauty standards for other men.
Also,
Kind of seems like you're telling men what you want to see in them because
Yeah.
you're gay, and that's okay.
it's okay to be gay.
You don't have to hate us women.
I also feel men definitely avoid dating women taller than them, so it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't want to feel emasculated.
Exactly. So I hate that argument that comes from incels of being well, you guys only accept men of a certain... Yeah. And?
Going back to my friend that I used as an example a few minutes ago, because like I said, his girlfriend is taller than him, but he at least is manly, masculine, and what
Yeah.
I mean by that, because the incels will take that out of context. He probably knows how to change oil in his car. He probably knows how to change a tire. He probably knows how to pitch a tent. He probably I don't know, he's just he probably makes his girlfriend feel so safe.
Exactly.
Because he's
Yeah.
very self-starting. He's very
Yeah. And that's that's her preference. That's our preference in men, is for them to play that role.
Yeah.
Some women prefer to be the one in charge, to be the other way around. That's okay.
This is all just to say that your height doesn't emasculate you inherently.
No, you just have to try to seem that way. Have the confidence of a tall man.
Yeah, masculinity can be a beautiful thing when it comes from a place of protection and assertiveness in like a, you know, a calming way. Dominance can be comforting.
Yes. I agree. I think a lot of those people too, they want the benefits of the patriarchy, but they don't actually want to do the protecting or the like taking care of you, where they're like, well, women only want you for your money. One, you don't have it. Or they're like, women, you know, like, you know, I'm supposed to be the provider. Well, you don't want to provide though. Like, I don't understand what they actually want. Like, it's really confusing to me.
Yeah, I would agree.
Another thing that really pisses me off that they do, that the manosphere does, is they use this whole like narrative that men are just like inherently more sexual beings than women. And they use that to justify like their inability to commit and be loyal, because they have this quote unquote biological need to spread their seed.
Ugh.
And it's just like, it's like you're equating yourself to an animal. But we all know that like we've evolved to be better than that.
Yeah.
And like, this is no shade to people who are like non-monogamous. I mean, I kind of do. Well, I'll keep my personal opinions about non-monogamy out of this for now. But we'll save that for another podcast. But, I don't know. I just think that it's really grimy because men that use that narrative are like the first ones to devalue a woman because of her body count, or like lack of virginity in general.
Yeah.
100%.
I saw this tweet that was like, women should save themselves for marriage and men should have sex before marriage so they can like, you know, get better at sex. And someone was like, who are you having sex with then?
Yeah.
Like,
who are the women that are going to be virgins then for you to marry?
I also am like, the whole spreading of the seed thing is just like, you're a whore and that's okay. And you don't need to like justify that in some scientific way. It's okay if you like to have a lot of casual sex. Just don't lie about it. Like, you can be upfront and someone can respect that. That's fine. Just don't be... It's just, like, disgusting. I need to spread my seed. You're sick. You're a sick person.
Yeah.
Number one, the intersection between incels and Mormons is very large, I feel, of their values.
Yeah.
2, do you think that incels are born from the way they were raised or spending time on the wrong parts of the internet?
I think both. Yeah.
Because I was about to say, like, I want to meet the moms of some of these bitches.
Pick-me's, a lot of them.
I bet, yeah. The type of be like,
yes,
my son, that's my son. Like, I need to take prom photos with my son. Like, that type.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
100%.
moms that put their sons on a pedestal and...
That make men think that the world revolves around them.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. And on the, like, preference thing, too, I think it's so silly because a lot of those guys are fat-phobic. And, it, like... You're mad that someone won't date you because you're short, but you won't date someone that's fat. Like, you have your own preferences, and that's fine. But like, don't shit on other people for having the same thing. It doesn't fucking matter. The thing that I don't understand with men is that if they meet a girl that they like and they don't fall into, like, her preference, they will try to change her mind. Where if I meet a guy that I like and I find out I'm not his preference, I'll just stop liking him.
Yeah, they can't take no for an answer.
Yeah, and that's so gross.
Men fucking suck.
They don't see us as human, I fear.
They do not.
In fact, another thing that I wanted to talk about is the fact that men and women call women females.
Yeah.
And I think that has got to end, especially women calling other women females. I mean, all of it, but I think it's just like such a toxic culture. It dehumanizes us. I don't know. I think it definitely adds to the devaluing and violence towards women.
I saw this thing online, and I could be like recalling it wrong, but someone was like, do you think that like incels like are just upset because women can do something they can't, and that's create life?
T.
And I was kind of like, wait a minute, are they just mad that they need a woman for something?
I could see that.
Are they just pissed off, and that's where their hatred comes from?
I'm going to say something controversial. I think a lot of the men that are incels want to be women really bad, and it's really repressed. So instead of, like, you know, trying to... A lot of you can transition if you want to. However, a lot of people, I think, don't want to, and they like repress it so far within them. The same thing who are like men who, obviously this isn't like a statistic, but there's many men that are like very violently misogynistic, where it's like you can very clearly tell they're very far in the closet. Where it's like you want to be a woman, but you just hate women because you can't be them. You like don't want to be able to fall outside of what's socially acceptable or what you think people can accept from you. So you just hate us for it.
Yeah.
A lot of incels do say that like women get what they want so easily because of our bodies, because just of our like our divine feminine energy. Yeah, I'm listening to this audiobook called Men Who Hate Women. I can't remember the author's name right now, but I think I've talked about it on the pod before, but it's so good and it's so fucked up. It's like a horror book. It's so scary, like how many men genuinely just like to their core hate women, and some of it, yes, does come from jealousy. It's very sad.
It is really sad.
Baby, just transition.
Yeah. You can live your truth and we'll support you, but like don't hate us for it. It reminded me, when you said that, it reminded me of what Jacob said. We were talking about this in relation to something else, like just like female privilege or like pretty privilege, whatever. But I remember what he said. He had said, like, it's not a positive thing that women are valued only based on like their sex and like what they look like. Mm-hmm. That's not a good thing. That's also misogyny. It's just in a different way.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
This might be a hot take, but I feel like if you are acting that way because you're like so in the closet that you're in denial, I still think that it is your responsibility to own up to that behavior and apologize after you come out, if you do come out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think I see too many people excuse it purely because like, oh, well, they were in the closet. They can still apologize and be like, sorry, I acted that way because I was scared.
I don't think that's a hot take. I think that should definitely be the expectation.
Yeah, because I think there was a trans person, I forgot his name, but he was a really famous YouTuber. I think his name was Kai something. And he was very controversial, and he kind of set the trans community back because he was pretty conservative. But he recently like made a video apologizing for it, and a lot of people were like, it's fine that you apologize, but like some people might not forgive you because you have like set us back so far and you have like actively harmed a lot of us. And like like when you're one big prominent face in one community that's so small, like I think at the time it was maybe like mid 2010s, so like there weren't that many trans like creators. So a lot of people were like, it's fine that you apologize, some people will forgive you and some people won't because of all the harm that you do. And I hope these people become better, but they also have harmed people along the way.
I don't think forgiveness is owed to anybody. I think it's well within your right in any situation to not want to forgive someone. But you just have to deal with the consequences of that if someone's like, why won't you let this go?
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Yeah.
It is. Speaking of men hating women, I recently, and I got so sad, like thinking about how many times I probably am going to have to like remind Ethan, because I'm going to be anxious about it. With, I don't remember her name. Please remind me of the woman in Georgia who's being used as an incubator. Does anyone know her name?
Oh shit, I don't remember it right now. Hold on.
What's
Adriana Smith.
Adriana Smith, what state?
Georgia.
Yeah, so the whole Adriana Smith thing in Georgia, this woman has been brain dead for a significant amount of time
since
now.
February.
Yeah, and I don't know how far along she is actually, now that I think about it. I think she's pretty far along, but they are not allowing the family to pull the plug on their daughter, which is absolutely ridiculous, because if you put anyone with a degree in that room, they would tell you that the chance of the baby making it while in a body that's not technically alive is not good. And it's probably going to come out with problems, and you're not going to want to pay for the disability for them. But anyways, this whole thing made me think about how it is always going to be save me and don't save the baby. Do not fucking pick our child over me.
Yeah.
Because they deserve a mom. And you can have another kid. You cannot just make another, like, mom.
Also, like, it's gonna suck if that kid has birth defects. Like,
exactly. And then you're leaving your partner alone to deal with the grief of not only your death, but like having this child that they probably don't even feel a connection with because they're just thinking about you.
Yeah, being a single parent, that's a whole different trauma. I think it's a lot of people think that it's like noble to do something like that, but I don't think that it is. I think that it's selfish, and it really is just like it just showcases how much like society really does just hate women.
Also, I did not mean to sound ableist when I said the birth defect thing. I just feel like if it could be avoided by not keeping this dead woman, like,
yeah, I don't think that's ableist.
Added responsibility. I feel like we've talked about this, and like maybe we cut this out, who knows, but like I'm a firm believer that it's okay to say that you don't want a disabled child.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you do genetic testing in the term where you can have an abortion. It's okay that if you want to not have that child because of a disability they might have, because not everyone can afford financially, mentally, emotionally to support a child with a disability. And honestly, it's much better that they don't go through with the pregnancy rather than the child ending up in the system and probably being physically and mentally abused.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. I don't think that we need to cut that out. I think because we are not ableist people. We are people that believe that, like, obviously people with disabilities should be respected and cared about. But also, if you can avoid having to deal with, like, the economic, like, hardship, if you can avoid having to deal with, like, the emotional hardship that comes with that, taking care of someone that can't take care of themselves forever, that's a really, really big responsibility. I think a lot of people lie to themselves when they say that they can do that. I don't think everyone is honest when they say that they can do that.
Yeah.
It's a really, really big thing to ask of somebody. And if someone can admit that they are not capable of that, I think that's really respectable. I don't think that I could.
No, 1,000%.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would argue that this is like eugenicsy, but it's not that we're trying to get rid of all the disabled people in the world. It is just like, we know, like, as a parent, like, you should know your own boundaries and like, your capabilities financially and mentally and emotionally. Yeah. And I just think it's responsible to not go forth with something that you know that you can't tolerate.
And if you're like already at a point where abortion's not an option, it's, again, totally okay to say go through a private adoption agency so you can screen through families and find this child a home that can take care of it. Because, again, like, you don't need to feel bad for being like, I'm not able, whether it's financially, mentally, or emotionally, deal with this. And that's anything. That's like, even like when your parent gets sick when you're older and you have to take care of them. Like, some people can't mentally handle that. And that's okay. And that's okay to admit. The issue is that we don't have a government that supports the disabled.
I also think if you're like an able-bodied disabled person, like say you're someone with Down syndrome, or if you have some other like disability where you can like live a pretty decent life or like longer life, you can't get married. You can't have more than $2,000 of funds into your name, like in terms of any assets, like car, money.
By the government?
What do you mean?
Like, this is like a government rule?
Yes. You could also make much less. Like, I think Goodwill was in a controversies within the past, like, 20 years or so because they hired a lot of disabled people, but that's because they legally can pay them much less.
I did know about this, and they get a tax credit.
And they get a tax credit for it. Like,
Holy shit.
If you are an able-bodied disabled person, you are still, like, so far disadvantaged in our current American society where it's just so hard to live as a disabled person in the U.S.
Like, you would think that, like, we would go, oh, they're disabled, they need extra accommodations, we should give them more a month to support them. Instead, they're like, we're actually going to limit what you can have.
Yeah, I think if you're married, you can't get disability. Like, so you literally, the government will not give you money if you're married, which is like, you should still be, that's a right. You should be allowed to marry.
So dehumanizing.
Yeah.
I think that you can, depending on if your other partner is making any income. Like, I think there might be an income threshold when you're married then, if that's the case. But I think if they're both, like, retired or one is on Social Security, like, give them the disability. They need it. Meanwhile, there's, you know what? I don't want to say that.
You can say it, but we can cut it out. What were you going to say?
The people who abuse the system to be able to reap the benefits that are meant for the disabled, you fucking suck. And I know you're out there because I've known people who do this, who find a way to get disability so they don't have to work, and then it's like, that's not what that's supposed to be for. That is supposed to be to aid people who actually are disabled, not because you just decided you found a way to get out of working.
I don't think that should be controversial. I also think this when it comes to like what is it called? Like service dogs?
It's controversial because of invisible illness.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to people who are scamming the system.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there, I have seen many of them in person, who will put like a service dog vest on their animal. And I feel like it makes me feel bad for people who have service animals. And I'm not judging if someone does have an invisible illness. But there are a lot of people who will do this. And then that makes like the common everyday person feel like they need to attack the person who does actually need a service animal or like judge them for that.
Yeah. Well, the thing with service animals is it's very easy to tell when an animal is not a service animal.
Yeah, because they're fucking barking. They're like not doing their job.
So service animals should not bark, interact with other people. Like basically they should just sit or stand in silence near their caregiver unless they're like released to their safe space or whatever. You can tell when the dog is coming in, tail wagging, going up to people. We know that's not a service dog.
Yeah, he's really bad at his job because that's what he was trained to do if he is a service animal.
And you know what? If you can train your dog as well as a service dog, go for it, because at least you're not hurting the community who actually needs service dogs.
It's just always the ones who like their dogs don't behave in any way, shape, or form. It's like a
5-pound chihuahua that they carry around as their service dog.
Yeah, and that dog is shitting in public.
Not what picking is that up dog doing for you?
Dude, in my workplace, I've had like dog shit on the floor. Pets are not allowed in public spaces, but they'll be like, oh, like, you know, this is my service animal. I don't think a service animal would shit on the floor in public. Just letting you know.
I could be wrong. I think in the state of California, you're not even allowed to like ask for paperwork.
You're not, but yeah.
We might skip a week again, you guys. Just a heads up.
I know everyone's going to be really devastated, and I'm so sorry again.
Sorry to all of our fans who bug us when we don't post.
The 3 people that text us and know us personally. Yep.
Enough.
No, we do have listens. We just looked at our insight the other day.
Wait, let me look at my list. I might have something short.
Okay. I'm down to go deeper. Do you have anything else to say about the manosphere? It is really scary to think about how all of those people in those like 4chan, 8chan, Reddit, like, you know, in the dark web communities, like they are out there in the world existing and living amongst us. That's really scary to me.
While Elena looks through her notes, one thing I need to talk about. It's never enough dressing in the bag of salad. It's never enough. We need bigger dressing packets in the bag salads. That's all.
We're talking to you, El Pollo Loco.
El Pollo Loco.
Wait, that sounds fire.
The grocery store bag salads. All y'all. More dressing.
Yeah.
That was it.
I think that's valid. And if you don't use the second packet or all of the packet, just save it for later.
Yeah.
It's better to have more than less.
I pretty much brought up most of the points in my notes. I kind of just wanted to wrap it up in a pretty little bow, and bring it back to communism, because I just think that misogyny and incel culture is just, you know, putting a barrier between, like, a lot of these people, like I said, are self-isolating because they think that the world is out to get them. Not really out to get them, but
I would say so.
Everyone hates them.
Yeah.
Which is true. I do hate you guys. But you don't have to live like this. And you don't have to be lonely. I just feel like you're kind of destroying the children's brains, and you're destroying your community. You're probably a piece of shit to your family, and you probably don't have any friends.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe just like reassess your priorities and your morals and try to be a part of your community, because the world is not as fucked up as you guys are making it out to seem. Or at least it doesn't have to be that way. It's people like you that kind of make it fucked up. So just don't be so scary.
Yeah.
And I don't know, touch grass.
Get a grip.
Yeah.
Get out of your mom's basement.
I also think with that too, it's like, it's such a self-fulfilling prophecy because they're like, oh, women hate us, like we have to be this way. Well, women don't like you because you're creepy and weird and mean and violent. Like,
Women don't like you because you go around talking about how women don't like you, so we know you're a red flag already.
yeah, like it's, you don't have to be that way. You can be normal.
It's like, what is it called when it's like that snake eating its own tail?
Oh, I can't remember. It's like a Latin phrase,
It's
isn't
like
it?
orbis or something. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah.
it's like you are victimizing yourself. Not you yourself.
You're
maybe,
making
but
yourself a victim.
It's like men who believe in that same ideology and yourself you're all victimizing yourselves and each other. So
Yeah.
don't
Also,
partake in that.
Andrew Tate is a sex trafficker and a known abuser. So why is that someone that you're looking up to?
Exactly. Have you guys heard the latest rumor out of the White House?
No.
That Elon Musk is rumored to be in a throuple with the deputy chief of staff and his wife.
Oh my God.
Cool.
I don't have any evidence, and I tried finding some, so I think it's fake, but that made me chuckle.
That is pretty funny, and I wouldn't put it past him because he tried to be in a throuple with Grimes and Azealia Banks.
Well, I was going to say that's probably why him and Trump don't get along, because he cheated on Trump. So.
Not very fresh fit fun of him.
But you said something about community with, like, people, like men, like, be a part of your community, basically.
Yes.
And this made me think about, this goes back to my quarter life crisis, is I was looking at community classes. For those who like don't know or have never, like their city doesn't do this, most cities in California have a community center that hosts class like throughout the summer for babies, kids, young adults, teenagers, seniors, whatever, etc. And I was like, that seems like a really good way to like meet people. So I was like, let me look at what they have. And the options were slim. And I'm attributing that to the fact because most of the classes had like no enrollment, and enrollment's been open for a while. I don't think people should be taking more advantage of community classes, activities, events. Like people, like just, I feel like a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this for sure, think like, oh, it's like some community sponsored event. It's going to be lame. And it's like, you should still go and check it out, because when people don't go to these events, they don't go to these classes, they don't sign up for these activities, the city will stop doing them.
Yeah.
And then we sit here and complain that the city isn't providing something anymore that we weren't using.
Yeah.
And this is all my long story short of Long Beach or Lakewood. Can you add more ceramic classes? Because I really wanted to take pottery.
If you find
That'd be
one,
so much fun.
I want to go.
Okay.
Me too.
I found one. Well, I found one, but all 3 classes were full. But none of them were like they were all like 9 a.m. I'm like, who can do that at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday?
Yeah, I have a job.
Girl, yeah.
So I've been looking for like a nighttime or like a weekend one, but yeah, I'm on the hunt for that. And
That would be so fun.
yeah, it just really bothers me because I do it. I'm like, I need to like, let's go check out the concert in the park. It might be fun.
Yeah.
Like, what else are we gonna do? Sit at home and scroll on TikTok? We could go.
Yeah. I've been feeling so restless just like at home lately. Like I want to go out and do things and experience life.
Yeah,
We only have a couple more summers in our 20s, you guys.
Yeah, like you said.
exactly.
It's summer and we're outside.
It's summer and we're outside. There is a concert in some sort of like Dana Point Beach that I want to go to that Mannequin Pussy is playing at in September, and I think that could be really fun.
I'm down.
Okay. I'm also trying to plan another camping trip.
Yes, I
So-
really want to go camping. I'm gonna do a really brief Wizard Liz thing because I think it's cut and dry.
I also think that's relevant to our situation when we're talking about like
Again,
women and men.
talking about men fucking everything up. Wizard Liz, she's a baddie on the internet. That's what I've gathered. I've never followed her. She is gorgeous, okay? Been dating this guy, I don't know how long, not very long. So she was 4 months pregnant with his child, engaged, with a 100K ring, and he's written a book about how much he loves her. And he cheated on her on Snapchat. He couldn't even have the decency to cheat good. That was it. Actually, she kind of crashed out on Instagram, and I took screenshots.
Good on her. Good on you, queen.
Basically, there was like a video a couple weeks prior to like her announcing the breakup where it was like he basically was like, don't trust men, I guess. And she posted it saying like, funny how my intuition was screaming at me like, thank God I got away or whatever. And then this is her explanation of what happened. I will never ever create a fake narrative for social media. I will not preach something and not take the advice myself. Landon decided to make a Snapchat account and reach out to a girl to meet up. He was just with me in London, made a whole book about how much he loves me. Anyways, the girl reached out to me and my friend today to show us evidence. He called the relationship fake. Meanwhile, my cats are with him in Dallas. All my stuff is there in our apartment. Oh, and I'm 4 months pregnant. He says he's incredibly sorry, but honestly, I feel like I didn't know him at all. I feel stupid for ignoring the signs and dreams that I'd even told him about. And he told me I was crazy. Listen to your intuition, woman. Men want to lead the world, but can't even control their lust. It's weak. A man that can't control his lust will never be able to lead. I'm absolutely heartbroken and shocked. My haters can celebrate. Haha, so funny. I will always have the last laugh, though. He lost everything and I gained everything. And then, the next story. I'm going to sell my engagement ring, in quotes, around 100K, and donate the money to single moms. More power to women. Amen. Which I loved.
All right.
That's so sad. That makes me so sad for her. I'm all for, clearly, women crashing out on the internet after a breakup. Do say what you gotta say, queen.
Get it out.
Get it out there. Fuck them.
Because that's what everyone's looking for.
Yeah. It's also just like, I remember seeing, people have been talking about it a lot. I didn't know these people prior, but I think it's really performative when you are with the man who, like, makes you his whole personality. It's like the whole wife guy thing. Like, he was literally only following her and, like, one other account on Instagram. And it's like, well, do you not have any friends or hobbies or, like, other things you're interested in? Like, it's very performative to me when men are so, like, my girlfriend is my whole personality or my wife is my whole personality.
To add to what you said, Vivi, I know someone, and you guys know them too, but I know someone that broke up with their boyfriend that had that whole, like,
I saw that.
My girlfriend is my everything, my whole world, blah, blah, blah. She broke up with him, and then he broke into her house, smashed her TV, stole her clothes and her shoes that he knew were valuable, and her makeup and her skincare and her fragrances.
Do you know if she got anything back?
I don't know. I haven't gotten the update yet. I'm sure I'll see her this month. But
Yeah.
Holy shit. Like, men are so scary. Love is so scary.
Those pictures that she had posted were, like, horrifying.
Yeah, they were graphic.
It looked very dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, so many women, like, the statistic is crazy high of, like, how many women in 10 or whatever have been, like, assaulted physically. It's crazy how many of these men are just out in the wild, and, like, you won't know until that switch flips.
Yeah, and it's so hard to actually get them convicted of anything. Like, if a man is violent towards you, like, good luck.
And if you do get him convicted of anything, it's not like he's in there for life. So
Yeah.
there's a good chance he comes after you and retaliates.
Oh, yeah.
Like
which would be my biggest fear.
Have you seen the Kayla stuff?
Yeah, I have.
There's a TikToker. I think she's pretty young. I think she's like 20 or 21.
She's got to be 21 because she's been drinking.
Yeah, so she's pretty young, and she was in a relationship for less than a year, and she just went to trial against him for, like, domestic violence, and she won the case, which is huge because most cases like that don't usually go in the woman's favor. But she had a lot of evidence, I think, like,
she documented it so well,
like video and audio
Good.
recording, and there's, like, a recording of her on TikTok, like, screaming and crying, and it's so sad to, like, hear, like, him screaming at her, and she's literally like, you broke my jaw.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
And what's heartbreaking is the women who try to do this and then they go through their phone and lose their shit about them trying to gather evidence, because it seems like in that whole P. Diddy case, that's kind of the vibe that was happening. And it's like, if you can't even, like, take evidence, it's just so scary what a man can do.
Yeah, and I think that's...
And women can do this too.
It's truly, at the end of the day, this is when we say we hate men. This is why. And it's so funny because, like, growing up, my dad was always like, don't trust men. Like, you know, their intentions are never good. And then we get older and the men are like, well, why don't you like us? And it's because you're violent and scary, and I have to have my guard up around you because I don't actually know you. You could be lying about this whole thing. You could be like a predator. You could be violent.
You know, the biggest thing that fucking pisses me off. We need to stop saying that because a girl is being mean to you, she likes you. I don't care if it's true when they're kids. This is clearly instating a false narrative into these little boys.
Yeah, fuck that narrative.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, like, I admit, like, when you're a kid and you're mean to a guy, usually you like them a little. That changes when, like, the fear of the adult world kicks in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so afraid of, like, the kind of content that, like, men and, like, boys consume.
Yeah.
Recently, unfortunately, some guy friends that are close to me, I know that they get, like, these Instagram reels of, honestly, like, maybe, like, smut, I guess you could call it, like, people dying, basically, in, like, really brutal ways.
That's, there's a different word for that. Smut is, like,
I was gonna say
dirty.
smut's like
Snuff.
Snuff, yeah.
Ew.
Thank you. But yeah, and I'm like, this is probably so damaging. You should stop watching this.
Yeah.
But I'm also, like, anti-porn and sex work and stuff too, so I don't know.
You should never be desensitized to violence like that. Like, that's what's scary.
Yeah. I think also that's part of the pipeline for people that are younger, more so. Like I remember in middle school, people watching, like, beheadings on, like on the internet or something, or, like, crazy videos like that. And there's a thing on Reddit. It's called Not Safe for Life. It's, like, a tag that people will use on something that could traumatize you, like a video or a photo. And I never look at them, but, like, avoid them. Like, you don't have to look at them. I understand, like, the morbid curiosity of it all, but those are real people and, like, real situations.
No, yeah, I feel like it has to lead to, like, some kind of, like, weird fucked up pipeline.
Yeah.
And if it hasn't yet, then it might become, like, a new, like, subculture type of thing in the near future, because what the fuck? Why is this just, like, on Instagram? Like, there's so many children on Instagram.
Yeah.
The things I've seen on Instagram as an adult has been enough. And I kind of understand parents who don't let their kids have Instagram,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, so not to be dramatic, but don't consume these men's podcasts. Don't consume weird videos like that on Instagram. Don't
Don't be a freak.
don't be
Yeah.
a weirdo freak.
I think it can be interesting if you watch something to, like, see other people's perspectives. Because I think you were telling us that we don't have to keep this in if you don't want to. I think you're telling us that Jacob sometimes listens to the Joe Rogan podcast to, like, hear other perspectives.
Yeah.
And I think that that's cool. But you just have to think critically about it, like he does, or like people who, like, you know, are interested in hearing other perspectives do. I think it's really harmful for impressionable people to consume that kind of content, or young people to consume that kind of content, or seek it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he almost uses it more of, like, a tool
I was
to,
gonna
like,
say, yeah.
to see, like, the other side, because he's a socialist and, like,
Yeah.
he listens to a lot of, like, educational shit from, like, people who actually do know what they're talking about. but then honestly, like, probably in, like, a way to, like, empathize with the right, like, he listens to, like, some Joe Rogan podcasts because
Yeah.
it's interesting to see how other people got to where they are.
Yeah, it is interesting to like think about how their minds work, if you
Yeah.
will. Like, how does that work in this community? Like the whole
How
way
do all
that
the
they work.
circuits click?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, like, Republicans and conservatives, their logic is just so, like, mind-blowing and bewildering that you're like, how could they possibly think this? And some people, like Jacob, they, like, want to remain kind of unbiased and get all sides.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost like you're trying to just be like, okay, let me just, like, put myself in their shoes. Can I see what they see? And obviously he can't. That's why he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
The thing that I love about him is that he's not unbiased at all. He's the most biased person that I know.
See, but he's biased from an unbiased place. As in, like,
Yeah,
he's
he
not
found his bias through research.
He's not only consuming what he knows he's going to agree with.
Yeah.
He'll consume everything, and then he'll have a very strong opinion that he's going to stand by, which you should.
Yeah.
I think everyone should be more like Jacob.
I agree. I was just going to say that I was going to try to get into doing the same thing, because I think it can be, like, such an echo chamber for us sometimes. And by us, I mean, like, leftists. So I do want to see what, like, people are thinking and saying on the right and like what their perspective is. Not that I'll agree with it, but then I feel like I'm just gonna get mad, and that's why I usually don't do it.
I think that I get that feel from watching some Jubilee videos, and I know that a lot of people fucking hate Jubilee.
Yeah.
Because they do platform a lot of assholes that should not be like having a platform. But, and this is not me trying to like uphold them or anything, but I think that watching like those like middle ground videos of people on like the left and right, like getting to hear the right's perspective and their arguments, I'm like, oh, like I don't agree with you, but like it's interesting that you believe that.
It makes more sense like where they're coming from. Me, the reason I like try to look at the other side is usually out of empathy. It's usually out of like me applying a stereotype because of like one thing I saw or heard. And it's like, you can actually just dive in a little more, because you might be reading the situation wrong. They might not know what they're talking about. This could be a moment for you to educate them. And I know some people believe that like it's not your job to educate people, but like it's really helpful to your community and spreading like a certain type of message. Yeah. So if you can, you should.
Also, I fully believe that educating people is a form of mutual aid.
I agree, because also if they're Googling it on their own, they have their own biases, and they're not going to find an unbiased source immediately. Like, it's easier for you to give them the knowledge that you have and that you've learned and applied in your life than for them to like go out there on their own and find some sort of maybe false like answer to what they're looking for, or just something that's super biased.
Yeah. Also, like statistics don't care about your biases.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I also feel like there's like another form of this in which people want to know like why something is problematic, or like why you're not allowed to say something. And so many people, I see it all the time in TikTok comments, like, it's not my job to educate you, do your own research. That's how we ended up with people who follow Trump. They did their own research and they ended up on QAnon.
Yeah.
So if you can, say what you know, or point them in the right direction, maybe send them a link, something.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit with the Lost File from last week. But like it's I think more people are in thought and like thought process and theory are more left wing than they think that they are. Because like I think in general we all want the same things. Like by we, I think people, like we want people to have, you know, money to be able to survive. I think we generally want people to be able to like feed themselves and their children and take care of themselves. I think a lot of people come from circumstances that are not good, and instead of blaming the government or blaming people who should be blamed, they blame other marginalized groups, and it becomes like this cycle where the politicians are like, well, you should be blaming those marginalized groups instead of us. I don't know. I think I try in my more recent years, I've really been trying to like empathize with right-wingers from like really poor areas of the US, because I feel like we have more in common with each other than we think. Obviously it comes to an extent if they don't see me as a human being. But like, I think we really should try to empathize with each other a lot more.
Yeah. I think it's one of the differences between being a liberal and a leftist is understanding that, it's not like us versus them. It's like all of us together versus like, you know, the elite.
Yeah.
It's also like, I think the one that bothers me the most personally is the automatic assumption that someone who is in the military sucks with their morals.
Mm.
A lot of people who maybe got into trouble as a kid, maybe they don't come from a lot of money, and maybe they didn't graduate high school, maybe they're an immigrant. The military accepts these people, and as much as they fuck them up, it does give them a starting point.
They prey on these people, too.
They prey on these people. And it does, in some, like, people do choose to go into this, number one. Number two, you can be patriotic and want to serve a good purpose for your country without being a conservative or a Republican. It just means that you might be an anomaly where you are. And it's like, I kind of try to look at it as like, maybe those people are trying to be the change, because like we're never going to make progress if we avoid things that we don't like.
I will not lie. I have judged people when they told me they're in the military, but I think it's also like what their perspective on it now is. But like at my high school, I'm in a lot of high schools in the US, like the US Marines and the military would come to our high school and like would like try to recruit people and like talk to people they would like have a fair day where they would just like set up and like talk to all of the students, and like the students would go in groups to like see what was going on. It's pretty predatory how we get people into the military, but then the military also offers like financial assistance, college assistance, a lot of benefits that you wouldn't otherwise get, that poor people wouldn't really have access to if not getting into the military. So it is really sad.
Yeah.
There you have it.
So is that your way of saying we're done?
I think so.
Yeah.
We've been recording for a million years.
We have been recording for a million years. We had a lot to say. It's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, this was a fun one.
I'm so hot though.
Yeah.
That door open.
Yeah, the windows are closed and the door is kind of closed. So we're going to go now. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and apologies for our hiatus. And the hiatus we will probably take next week too.
Please rate us on Spotify.
Rate us on Spotify, watch our YouTube.
Leave comments.
Let us know how we can retain your information more, or like your attention. Yeah, because we want to retain your attention. We are desperate. Thanks.
Comment your social security. Thanks.
Later, haters.
Later.